Zeus, the imposing king of Olympus, was known for his irresistible charm and his insatiable appetite for mortal and immortal women. His reputation as a conqueror preceded him in every corner of the world. From the most beautiful nymphs to the most powerful queens, none were immune to his enchantments. But among so many conquests, one woman in particular stole his heart: Persephone, the underworld goddess. Their union, born of desire and intrigue, gave birth to Zagreus, a god of jewel nature, heir to the might of Zeus and the wisdom of Persephone. The story goes that Zeus seduced his daughter Persephone before Hades abducted her and became queen of the underworld. Persephone, by her mother's commandment, hid in a grotto, and Zeus, famous for his transformations, this time became a serpent. There, in the dim light, the serpent coiled around her, its scales glistening like jewels. Persephone, surprised and captivated, could not resist. The serpent wrapped its body around her, and Zeus revealed his true identity. The maiden came face to face with the king of the gods. Although initially frightened, she soon yielded to his divine charm. The result of this union was Zagreus, an exceptional being. His blood bore the mark of two worlds, Olympus and the underworld. Zeus, filled with pride in his son, saw in him the promise of a bright future for Olympus. Zagreus was his legitimate successor, the god who would lead Olympus into a new era of peace and prosperity. Zeus, despite being estranged from his son, was very proud of him. He said that as his legitimate successor, he would bring an era of peace and prosperity. One night, while Zeus was watching his son from above, he descended and said, caressing his forehead, "My son, your time has come." Zagreus did not know what his father meant. It was then that the god Apollo and the Curates were seen in the distance. Persephone knew that Zeus would protect his hair from any envious person, therefore, she agreed that her son would go with those who from now on would be his mentors. Apollo, the god of music, light, poetry, and prophecy, assumed an important role in Zagreus' life. Being the brother of Artemis, goddess of hunting and wild nature, Apollo possessed a youthful vitality and playful spirit that captivated the little god. Apollo at Delphi taught him to play the lyre, awakening in him an appreciation for harmony and beauty. Beyond entertainment, Apollo also instructed Zagreus in the art of prophecy. He taught him to interpret omens and signs of destiny, crucial skills for a future leader of Olympus. Through games and riddles, Apollo stimulated Zagreus' intelligence, preparing him to face the challenges to come. While Apollo was in charge of Zagreus' intellectual and spiritual development, the young god's physical protection fell to the Curates. These were a group of young divine warriors, known for their strength and tireless vigilance. Born of Zeus' marriage to Rhea, the Curates had been charged with protecting Zeus in his infancy. Now, with the same dedication, they guarded Zagreus. The Curates surrounded Zagreus at all times, forming a mysterious circle. With their shields and spears, they created a rhythmic noise that faded any cries of the divine baby and hid his presence from unwanted ears. They trained constantly, honing their combat skills to be ready for any threat. Under the tutelage of Apollo and the Curates, Zagreus grew up in an environment that nurtured both his intellect and strength. But peace would not last forever. The jealous Hera could not tolerate the existence of this bastard son of Zeus, let alone the prophecy that pointed to him as the future king of Olympus. In the darkness of Tartarus, Hera met with the Titans. These ancient gods, defeated and imprisoned by Zeus, burned with a desire for revenge. Hera offered them a chance at freedom in exchange for a service: to eliminate Zagreus. The boy, with his dark curls and bright eyes, laughed as he chased butterflies, oblivious to the approaching danger. As the sun sank behind the mountains, painting the sky gold and purple, a shadow slipped through the trees. These were the Titans, with their huge bodies and eyes burning like embers. They crept closer. They had covered their faces with white plaster so as not to be recognized, and carried with them toys and a mirror to attract the young god's attention. Zagreus, curious by nature, noticed the glow of the objects in the darkness. Despite the warnings of his protectors, he wandered off to investigate. The Titans seized that moment to attack. The hunt began. The Titans surrounded the boy, their sharp claws ready to tear him apart. But Zagreus did not give up immediately. He tried to fight back, but being a child and outnumbered by the Titans, they quickly wounded him, leaving him completely dismembered and only his heart intact. The news of Zagreus' death fell like a thunderbolt on Olympus. Zeus, upon hearing the news, felt the world crumble beneath his feet. Grief pierced him like a spear, quickly transforming into uncontainable rage. The mighty god, ever so controlled, broke down at the loss of his beloved son. "Damn them!" roared Zeus, his voice cracking with anguish. "They will pay for this with their existence." His piercing cry spread throughout Olympus, shaking even the foundations of the world. Lightning began to strike uncontrollably, illuminating the sky with a fury never seen before. Zeus, blinded by pain, lashed out at the Titans with all his divine strength. Their bodies disintegrated under the power of lightning, and their ashes were scattered by the winds. But even this destruction did not appease Zeus' torment. Heartbroken, he summoned all the gods to witness his vengeance. "Let them all see what awaits those who dare defy me," he proclaimed, tears of rage running down his cheeks. Athena was the first to arrive. Gently, she picked up the remains of her brother Zagreus and approached her father. Zeus, seeing the fragments of his son, felt his soul break. "Father," said Athena gently, "let us give Zagreus another chance. He deserves to live again." Zeus looked at his daughter, his eyes watering with tears. "You're right, but nothing will ever be the same again." Some authors say that Zeus, with tears in his eyes, swallowed his heart. Zagreus was reborn as Zagreus, the first incarnation of Dionysus, the god of wine and exuberance. But others also mention that, with hands still trembling, Zeus gathered Zagreus' essence. But instead of returning it to its original form, he decided to give it a new purpose and life. From those remains, human beings were born, carrying within them both the nobility of Zagreus and the violence of the Titans. Time later, Zeus, still consumed with grief, searched among mortals for someone worthy of carrying the spirit of his son. His eyes fell on Semele, a young woman of extraordinary beauty and pure heart. Captivated, Zeus decided that she would be the mother of the new incarnation of Zagreus. As usual, the jealous Hera, Zeus' wife, discovered the affair and, ready to get rid of her husband's bastard children again, came up with a cruel plan. Disguised as an old woman, she approached Semele and said in her ear, "If Zeus loves you, ask him to show himself in all his divine glory. Only then will you know that he is sincere." Semele, innocent of the trap, asked Zeus to fulfill her wish. The god, trapped by her promise, revealed himself in his divine form. The power was too much for the mortal Semele, who was instantly fulminated. In that moment of horror, Zeus saw that Semele was pregnant. With heart in hand, he rescued the unborn child, and in a desperate act, sewed it into his thigh so that it could complete its gestation. Thus was born Dionysus, a twice-born god. In him lived the spirit of Zagreus, but also a new hope for Olympus. Dionysus would become the god of wine, joy, and rebirth. This video was created for mythophiles and history. Thank you for joining us in this fascinating story about Zagreus. See you soon in a new video.